Hello and welcome to Tech 24. I'm Julia Seeger. Coming up in the show. Smart cameras, iris scan, databases. How are cities responding to the heightened terrorist threat? What kind of technologies are being developed to track suspects? We tell you everything you need to know about automatic facial recognition. And you haven't had a good night's sleep in a while? Then you're going to want to try the smart headband Dreem by French startup Rythm. And as you'll see, it's not just any sleep wearable, as it opens a door to neurotechnology. Now imagine a world in which there's no need for ID checks anymore. You don't have to show ID because you'll be identified automatically. Well, that world has arrived thanks to technology called automatic facial recognition. In cities around the world, there will soon be security cameras that will be able to capture your face and match it to a database with your name. So far, this technology has been pretty poor, but it's improving, especially as terror attacks around the world have put pressure on authorities to improve public safety. Fernand Van Tetz gets us up to date with the latest innovation in the security field.
Smart cameras capable of tracking suspects and alerting authorities. Sensors that can scan the iris of each passenger and eliminate false identification. Here's how technology is now at the forefront of the fight against terrorism. November 13th, 2015. The mastermind of the Paris terror attacks is on the run. Abdel Hamid Aboud and another terrorist are caught on film in the Parisian subway without any consequences. But soon a smart camera will be able to alert authorities. It will be equipped with facial recognition technology. In just a few seconds, all the faces of people in a crowd will be scanned, modeled in 3D, identified and compared to a database of suspects.
It's software which will capture all faces in an entire flow of passengers and then identify wanted persons who are already listed in a database of dangerous individuals and terrorists.
When a suspect is spotted, whether it be on the streets or at the entrance to a stadium, it will automatically trigger an alarm. The smart cameras of tomorrow will also be able to pinpoint suspicious behavior. Here, a violent encounter is being simulated. The camera is able to recognize that the gestures are exaggerated and the voices are loud.
Here it detects the movement, and then look how it becomes abnormal. This circled red area means the situation is abnormal. We can spot someone who engages in strange behavior or who'll use a weapon. That will obviously trigger a sound.
Physical assaults, gunshots, suspicious packages, nothing is supposed to fly under the radar of these cameras. They're also capable of following a suspect on the run. On the 22nd of March, 3 terrorists were filmed at Brussels airport before the explosions, but it took police hours to retrace their steps. The new technology would be faster. On these images, all passengers are identified and followed by a yellow rectangle.
It means it can follow people much better from one camera to another, based on characteristics such as their face, their clothes.
And what if a suspected terrorist tried to board a plane? Soon it will be almost impossible to use a fake identity. Iris recognition technology is in the process of being implemented in airports across the world. Considered to be forgery-resistant and tamper-proof, it's a system that is already in use in the United Arab Emirates.
And for more on this, let's welcome Dan and Jay Katalkar. Dan, great to have you.
Thank you, Julia.
What are some other examples of companies involved in this facial recognition revolution?
Well, let's start here in France. A startup called Smart Me Up is involved in developing a system that enables the real-time analysis of different faces. What it does essentially is it monitors video streams and it's able to detect faces. So, for example, what it does is through the software, it can detect age, it can detect gender, it can detect the state of emotion of a particular person. At the same time, it can send these alerts, real-time alerts, if there's a suspicious person or a person of interest which is caught on camera. So yes, this is now the next step in facial recognition, and there's a Japanese company which has taken it even further in a sense that it's been developed by NEC, this particular system. Earlier, there used to be a big problem with low-resolution video images, and it was difficult to to make a positive identification using these images. But now through the NeoFace, so-called NeoFace system, this is also possible. So now we are really talking about something really advanced that will help in not only in detecting terrorists, but there are other applications as well.
Right, yeah, that's in the security field, but it's also used for other purposes.
That's right. The other application could be to detect drowsiness or in drivers. So, for example, that could help in reducing the accidents. At the same time, it can be used in finding missing persons. And now, as is with everything else, tech giants have also started using this particular technique in order to improve the user experience.
Right.
So, for example, Facebook is developing deep face, which is used to enhance the sharing of images and tagging of images. And Microsoft is also involved in a project called Oxford, which is something similar to what we discussed about when it comes to knowing the emotion, knowing the age, etc.
Right, that's another confirmation that we are living in George Orwell's world.
That's right.
Pretty scary. But on a lighter note, Dan, we're going to talk about the silver economy. It refers to the opportunities that arise from an aging population in terms of new markets. Well, one major focus here in France is to teach senior citizens how to use computers and tablets. Chris Moore has the story.
A concept that's blossoming in Paris, cyber cafes for senior citizens. Most people here are 80 years old or over. Some have come to create an email account, others to reset a password. 85-year-old Leon says it's a good way of meeting people.
You benefit from the kindness of people who are here to teach you, and it's a good reason to get out of the house.
With Skype, I can call my kids who are traveling. It's really easy.
What do you call these things? You know, the things that you attach?
Files attached.
Soon we'll all have to pay our taxes online, and it doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to have to know how to use a computer.
Teaching elderly people how to use computers, a growing market in the so-called silver economy. It's even becoming a priority for European authorities, with 1/3 of the population's continent set to be aged 60 or over by 2050.
And as we're talking about the silver economy and how many things technology has to offer to older people, we couldn't resist but to tell you more about the Speaking Exchange Initiative. It connects retirees in the US with kids who are learning English in Brazil. We're going to take a listen, but beware, it's a tearjerker.
Hello, hello.
Melissa.
Hi, Dick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I look like I'm only 25, but I'm 88.
This is your dad?
That's me and my wife when we were young.
Oh, you were good looking when you were young. And you're still good looking. You are incredible.
Obrigado.
You are my new granddaughter, and I love you.
I love you too.
And if you were here, I would give you a big hug.
Oh, yeah, let's hug.
And stay with us for Test 24. We're literally going to hack into your brain to help you sleep better. And getting a real good night's sleep is not as simple as just closing your eyes and drifting off. There are, in fact, several stages of sleep that are repeated in cycles throughout the night. And the key to sleeping is in the brain waves, which is actually how the Dreem headband was born. Dan, to understand how this headband works, we actually have to understand how the brain works, if that's even possible.
That's right. Brain is an extremely complex organ. It consists of 100 billion neurons, and these neurons communicate with each other through electrical and chemical impulses. Now, by mapping this electrical activity, one can get a fair idea of what's going on in the brain. So this is what is used in many hospitals using the device called electroencephalogram. It's a technique which monitors electrical activity using electrodes. Now that's the same idea which is being used by the French company Rythm through this headset Dreem. So once you put this headset on, it starts mapping your electrical activity in real time. And as you know, whether you are awake or whether you're asleep, your brain is constantly active. Now, by monitoring this electrical activity when you are sleeping, it also monitors the different stages of sleep. And then by monitoring that in real time, this particular device emits a sound which is not audible to your ear, but it's conducted through the bone to the inner ear, which then converts it into an electrical impulse, which then stimulates the brain. Now, if we see here on the graph, we'll see what kind of electrical activity it stimulates. So, for example, here we see So this is the mapping.
different stages of
Exactly.
sleep.
This is what the EEG basically detects. And then by detecting this particular stage in real time, this device sends a sound and then stimulates the brain so that it helps in improving our deep sleep.
Right. So here it has chosen the stage, the deep sleep stage.
Right. This is the deep sleep. There are different stages of sleep.
Right.
As we can see through this electrical activity, which is mapped by this.
So it's really something that's going to hack into your brain, and it's an active wearable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Which is different from the kind of wearables we have seen so far.
That's very interesting. We'll keep on following here on Tech24, this growing sector of neurotechnology. But until then, we're going to leave you with this video made by Intel and Japanese artist Asai. They managed to turn a woman's face into an Unreal Production mapped masterpiece. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.